Hello everyone, Phoenix Knight here. Welcome to the channel, and welcome to a new playthrough on the channel. As I mentioned in the description, I'm getting ready for my yearly Noble Knight run today. But before that, I'm going to try to sneak in a couple of videos real quick. First up, we're going to go to BGA, which is turning into a new stream favorite for a playthrough of Welcome To by Blue Cocker Games. For those of you who are not familiar with this game, this one's a roll and write. Actually, it's not really a roll and write, it's more of a flip and write, where you go through, where you're building a city using a sequence of numbers and features. So I think everything's set here. Let's jump in and see what we've got here. Okay, so we've got a pair of construction cards, but first let's look at our goals. We need a pair of 6s on one, 10 points if we get that before approval, 6 after. Then we need a 3 and a 6, 8 and 4, then 1, 4, and 5, 13 and 7. We've also got our numbers over here. Each of them have a different effect. You can see what effect is on the back of the cards. So this one's a 9 on what's called an estate strengthener. I'm going to close. I only need one of these tabs open. So we've got a 9 on an estate strengthener, 6 on a park, which can only be built in the same row, and 3 on a temp agency. What the temp agency means, so let's see if scoring here. Okay, so I'll explain the scoreboard, the score sheet. You score points based on the plan, whether it's approved, the highest revealed park, the lowest revealed pool. For the temp agency, you have to use at least, I believe it's 7 of those to get the points for that. Normally it hovers over that but maybe there's something under. Oh, here we go. Who marked off the most temp agencies? It's different in the solo game. I know that. But I don't know if it's listed here. Ooh, there's a Christmas variety. We might try to do that one when we might try to do that when we go into. We might try to do that live as an actual paper game. So let's come back here. I think we're gonna take the 9 and we'll build that on a park. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So if I put the 9 about here, that'll give me a park there already. All right, confirm the turn. So now we've got 10 on a pool, 3 on a BIS, that's a repeat, 7 on an estate strengthener. What the pool is you mark the number, and if you build it on a pool space, then you actually get the pool. So I think I am going to take the 3, and I'm going to take that on a pool. So I'll mark that right there. We'll build the pool, confirm the turn. All right, I definitely want to see a 1. I'm happy to see that. So I'll take the 1. I'll take that on another park. So we'll put the 1 right there. Then we'll build the park and confirm the turn. Okay. I think we're going to take the 2. We're going to take that on a fence. So let's go 2, and we can place the fence anywhere. I'll fence right here. That'll give me one of my 6s for one of my plans. And I've got a 4 here, which I need for this plan anyway. So I will take the 11, and I'll take that on an estate strengthener. So we'll take an 11. I forget what it's actually called. I have always called it an estate strengthener. Real estate agent is what that is. Okay. So now we can increase. Since we need 6s, I'm going to start increasing the values of my 6s. We'll confirm the turn. Let's see. Okay. We'll take the 4, and we'll take another real estate agent. We'll go 4 there, and we'll increase our 6s again. Okay. Yeah, let's go for a 12, and I'll use a temp agency So we'll mark the 12. We'll take that as a 12. That's fine. And remember, we can when we use a temp agency, we can increase or decrease it by up to 2, and 0 is a legitimate option. Let's see. I really want the 13, but I would also, well, actually the pool wouldn't do anything for me. So I don't need the repeat. We'll take a 13 right now, and I'll build a fence. We'll take a 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually, if we go down here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I can partition off a fence there and get both of my 6s down here. Okay. Let's see. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, so we can take a 6 on a pool. And I think we will. So 6 and a pool. I'll put the 6 down here. Basically, I'm committing to using low numbers down here. Which a 4 will work for that. So I'll take the 4, and I guess I'm building a park on that street. So I'll put the 4 here. And we'll build a park. Okay. Let's take a 14 on a park. We'll put the 14 there, and that'll build that park, so I'm done with parks. I'd like to see a middle number so I can finish this 6. Well, a 4 is not helpful. Let's go for a 15 on a temp agency. We'll put the 15 there. I'll mark it as a 15. Actually, I can go up to 17 with that, so I think I will. Just in case I need something. Just in case I need something huge there. Well, we can take an 8, and I'm going to use it as a fence. So 8 on a fence. I'll put the 8 down here, so at least I've got 1 6 done. And then a fence. I'll make that a fence right there. That'll give me a 1 if I can get a low number in here, which a 2 will work. Let's take a 2 on a pool. That sounds perfect to me. We'll build the pool. Okay. Let's go for a 2 on a pool. I'll mark the 2 there, and then we'll build this pool. Okay, we'll take a 15, and we'll build a fence. We'll put a 15 there, and I'll put a fence in here. 10, 7, 10. I'm going to take the 10 on a park. 7, 8, 9. I'd like to save that for a pool. I know I've got some big numbers left, so we'll make that a 10, and we'll build this park. Okay. Actually, there's an 11 on a pool. That'll work. So 11 on a pool. We'll build that right there. We'll build the pool. And there's a solo card, so that means all the plans are now considered to be approved. All right, 5 on a park, 9 on a real estate agent, 13 on a fence. Let's take 13 and we'll build a park. So we'll put the 13 there. I'll build that park. May select the plan. Oh, I can validate a plan. So I will take the 1, 4, 5, which I'll use those 3 to complete that plan. Okay, very cool. Let's see, 11 on a real estate agent, 5 on a fence, 6 on a temp agency. Let's go 5, and I'll use the temp agency. I'll mark it there. I've got to take it as a 3. So that'll work. Let's see, five on a park, 8 on a real estate agent, 14 on a park. Let's go 8 and a park. We'll put the 8 there. I'm going to need a 9 though, so I can fill this in. Let's see, 11, 4, 5. Okay. Let's go 5, and we'll use it as a... Okay, this was dumb. Unfortunately, I've got all fences here. So, I don't know why it just marked all of this off. So let's go... Yeah, I think I may have screwed myself. Actually, no. I can use I can build a fence here to complete the 3-6 plan. So yeah, we'll do that. 5 and a fence. So we'll go 3, 4. Let's put the 5 here, and I'll make a fence right here. So I can validate the 3-6. I'm probably not going to be able to complete the 6-6 here. Well, let's go 3 and a park. So we'll put a 3 there. We'll build that park. 10 on a fence, 10 on a real estate agent, 12 on a temp agency. Let's take the... Do I want the 10 in the temp agency? I either want the 10 on the temp agency or the 12 on the fence. And I think I want the 12 on the real estate agent. So 6, 7, let's put the 12 in here. And I will increase the values of my... I'll increase the value of my 5s. Because why not? Let's see, 3, 13, and 15. Let's go 13 on a park. We'll go 13 and a park. I would need a 9 to put something down here. Well, there's the 9, but I would have to use a temp agency for it. So actually, I think I'm going to go... I've got 3 cards left. Yeah, there's no way I'm completing the 6-6 plan here. I'm not surprised by that, though. So let's just get all the points we can. We'll use 9 and a temp agency, and that has to be a 9. All right, so I have to use the 8 because that's the only one I can use. 8 on another estate. So we'll put the 8 down. We'll put the 8 down here. Actually, yeah, we'll put it here. And then the estate size will increase. Sure, we'll increase our 6s again. Okay, that wasn't terrible. Yeah, we got 82 points. That was actually pretty good. Let's see, 7:30. I want to be leaving here by 9. So I think I've got time to go again. So yeah, we'll go ahead and play again. See what kind of plan we get this time. Let's see what kind of scheme we get this time. 6 singles, 3-6 again, and 2-5. Okay, let's go. We'll go 2, and we'll use it as a park. So we'll put the 2 here, and we'll build the park. So if I think I'm completing this plan, I need a lot of fences. Well, I guess I'm building another park. So I'll take the 6 and the park. We'll put the 6. We'll put the 6 down here. And we'll build this park. Actually, we can go 4 into pool. That'll work. Yeah, we'll build the pool. Confirm the turn. Let's see, 2. So we've got 9 on a BIS. I forget what that stands for. BIS, symbol is a red mailbox. So I don't need that. 2 on a park, 14 on a real estate agent. I think we will go. I think we'll take the. I'm going to take the. Do I want the 2 on a real estate agent? I'd have to put the 2 down in one of these 2 rows. I think I'm going to take the 14 in a park. That way I can put the 14 down. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, I'll put the 14 down here and build the last park on the street. Okay, let's take an 8 on a fence. So I'll put the 8 down, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yep. I'll put the 8 down here, and I'll build a fence. Odds are I'm not going to get the singles, so I'm just going to put a fence down here so I can start probably cordoning off a 3 section here, but we'll see if I start getting a lot of fences. 8 on a park, 12 on a temp agency, or 12 on a pool. I could go 12 on a pool and build this pool. Yeah, let's do that. We'll take 12 and a pool as Viper Dave is first to join us here as we're building out a new city. 9, 10, 11, 12. Actually, I'm going to put the 12 down. I'm going to put the 12 down here and build the pool. Yep, that's fine. Let's see. 15 on a fence, 3 on a pool, 9 on a park. I think I want the 9, and I'll build a fence. We'll put the 9 down there. And where do I want the fence? Good question. I could partition off a 5. I could actually partition off a 5 right here, so I can work on this plan. I would then just need a 10 or an 11 to complete this plan before approval. So that's where I'll mark that fence. I could use a 9 on a temp agency. That would work. 3 on a fence. You've never seen this game. It's a game called Welcome to, Viper Dave. It's actually very simple. So we'll walk through this turn slow. Well, I'll walk through this turn slowly so you can see how it works. It's actually very simple. In the solo mode, actually I think this is true for even the multiplayer game. You have 3 cards over here. Each one of them has a number on them and an effect. You can tell what effect is on the card by what's in the upper right corner. So in this case, my first card up here that you can see is a 9 with this symbol with money on it. It might be a little bit hard to see. I can't really zoom in a edge. But what this symbol means is you can increase the sizes of your estates down here. That's only for completed estates at the end of the game. This one's a 3. Your cards are numbered from 1 to 15, by the way. This one's a 3 on a fence. So what this means is if you take this card and looking at my symbol, looking at the plots I've got over here. So these are the plans. I'll come back to those. Looking at the plans, I might want this fence, which I can use to divide up plots into subplots. Then we've got this 3 on a temp agency. What the temp agency is you can actually use that to increase. You can actually use that to increase a number by up to increase or decrease a number by up to 2, and 0 is a legitimate option. So now coming over here, these 3 plans are drawn at the start of the game. So in the case of this first plan up here, that means you have to have 6 single estates. So I'd have to separate off 6 individual plots of land. So what I'd have to do to complete this plan is I'd have to partition this plan, these 5 estates off, for example, or these 5 houses off as a potential plan. And then I have to fill something in here before it's considered complete. For this plan, I'm looking at a 3, I would need an estate size of 3 and one of 6. So I could partition this off. I could partition this off in a... by putting a fence in here, this would partition it off to turn this into an estate size, to turn this into a 3-size estate, and this one into a 2-size estate. Right now it's a completed 5 estate, and the way you can tell it's a completed is if there are fences in between 2 of the houses and numbers in all of the houses. And then the last plan, which I'm thinking I'm going to try to complete this turn, is need an estate of size 2 and 5. There are points on the plans depending on when you complete them. The first value is if you complete it before the plans are considered approved, and that happens when the solo card is drawn. I will point that out when it happens, and a size of 4, and 4 points if you score it after plans are approved. Does that make sense for you, Viper Dave? I'm happy to play this one slowly, but I don't want to play it too slowly because like I said, I'm making my Noble Knight run today, and I want to get out of here by about 9 o'clock. So I've still got plenty of time. I'll just make sure this makes sense before we go. I'll make sure that much makes sense before we go into the turn. Also gives me a chance to take a drink. Just waiting for confirmation from Viper Dave, but I'm kind of planning out my move here. I think, like I said, I think I know what I'm doing here. Actually, I do need to get a fence, though, and then I do need to get a fence. I've got plenty of time for that, though. Okay, so I do have this overview. Okay, don't need to play slow. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to select the 9, and I'm going to use a temp agency. I'm going to put that down here. I have to use it as either a 10 or 11. Doesn't really matter what I use it as. I'll take it as an 11. Now I need to find a fence, which I don't here. That's a little bit annoying, but nothing I can do about that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a 12, and I'm going to take it as a park. So I will build... Unfortunately, I can't build a 12 here because the next number you have to build... When you build, you have to build with a number that's greater than the previous but less than the next. So you always build in sequence of 1 to 15 from left to right. So in this case, I'm going to put a 12 down, I think, here, and we'll build that park. Okay. That's perfect. Actually, yeah, that's perfect. So there's a 1, and I'll use it as a fence. So I'll put the 1 down here, and I'll mark the fence right here. So now I can validate this plan. I'll use these 2 estates for the 2 and the 5 plan. We'll confirm that. And now that plan is considered done. Okay, so now I need 3s and 6s, and I need singles. Excuse me. I guess I'll start working on the singles because all of a sudden I can get to 3 individual plots broken up. I'll take that as a 6, and I'll use that as a fence. Let's put the 6 down here, and I'll make this a fence. So now I've got 3 singles carved off. Let's go for a 2, and I'll use that on a real estate agent. So it's a 2. And I'll increase the sizes. I'll increase the strength of my singles, since I look like I'm gonna have a lot of them. And actually, I've already got 2 of them. Let's see. Let's go for a 1 on a park. So I'll put a 1 down here, and I'll build a park on this bottom street. Let's see. Actually, we'll take the 13. That's perfect. Well. The problem is I want the 13 here, but I don't care about either of the effects. So I think what I'll do here is I'll wait for another 13. I'll see if I can wait for either another 13 or a 12 or an 11, 12, 14, or 15 on a temp agency or with a temp agency that I can use. So I'm actually going to take the 5 on a pool. I'll put the 5 down here, and then that'll let me build this pool. Confirm the turn. Okay, there's the 13 on the temp agency. It needs to be a 13 with a temp agency. So to explain what I'm looking for, the problem here is that this card's got both of them on it. I would need it to be on one of these cards. I would need the temp agent. I would need the 13 or the temp agency to be on one of these cards. So I guess we'll take the 8 and we'll build a park. So I'll put the 8 here and I'll build the park. Okay, that's not what I was hoping to see. So we'll go, let's go for an 11 and I'll I'll take a real estate agent. We'll put the 11 down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We'll put the 11 down here. And then I'll increase the value of my completed estates. I'll increase my 5s. Let's see. So we've got a 9 on a fence, 5 on a park, and 8 on an estate strengthener. Let's go with a 5, and we'll use a fence. So let's go 5 here, and I'll put a fence down. Let's put a fence right about here. That way, if I start getting some low numbers, I can work on. Actually, yeah, that's fine. All right, 4, 13, 15. Actually, this works out perfectly because I can take the 13 and use something. And well, the 13 will be giving me an estate strengthener, but I think that's fine. I do want the 13 though, so we'll take that as an estate. So we'll put the 13 down here, and I'll increase the value of my 5s again. 14 on a fence, 10 on a temp agency, 9 on a real estate agent. Let's go with a yeah, let's go 14. Actually, no. I don't want the 14. Well, the problem is I want the 14 for either one of those. What happens when your board starts filling up and you can't play a card? In that case, you take what's known as a building permit refusal. Those, I believe, yep. Okay, so if a chosen house number can't be played because it can't fit anywhere while preserving ascending order, you take a building permit refusal. You can perform that only if you didn't receive a building permit refusal. That is one of the ways the game ends, though. So if you end up taking a third building permit refusal, you actually can't. If you take a third building permit refusal, the game would end. So where was I? Oh yes, we will go with a. Let's take a 9, and I will use that for a fence. So I'll put a 9 down here, and then the fence, I want to start working on my singles, so I'll carve that off as a single. There's the solo card being drawn, so now the other 2 plans are considered to be approved. Let's see. Okay, let's go 3 on another real estate agent. We'll put the 3 down there. I need a 1 here to put down to strengthen that. I'll make my 5 stronger again. Speaking of 5s, I get 2 of them along with a 9. Let's go for, let's see, 3 and a 6. 2, 4, 6. So let's go with a. I've got 6 turns left. I can tell how many cards are left in the deck, and I know the number of turns because I know I'm drawing 3 cards a turn. So that's how I know I've got 6 turns left. Let's go with a 9, and we'll use it for a fence. We'll put a 9 down here, and I'll build a fence here. I'm hoping for a 7 or a 1, but I get I get neither of them. So let's go for a 13, and we'll take that on a fence. 13, and I can carve that off into a single, which I think I will. Okay, so you can actually see how this number is grayed out. I can't even select it, which means but I will be able to use it for its effect. But I do want the 7 in this case, and I'll build a park. So I'll take the 7 and build this park. Let's see, I will take the 15 because I can use that, and I'll build a fence. So we'll take the 15 there. And where do I want the fence? I'll put the fence down. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I just need to get something. I just need to get something in here, and I can complete this plan if I carve it off. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to carve this one off instead, hope for something low. Oh, actually, I do complete it now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So a low number here. So actually it would have to be a 1, but I could complete this plan, which there's my 1, and a pool. That'll work very nicely. 1 will build the pool. And I will complete the plan. 3, 6. I don't think it's ever happened that I've been able to complete all 3 plans in a playthrough of this. Let's see how well I scored. We'll confirm the turn. And, okay, 83 victory points. That's actually very respectable. But I think that's also where we're going to call it a video, because I've got a whole... We'll bring it back up top, but I think that's where we're going to call the video here. I've got a whole bunch of stuff that I need to unbox, and I'm going to try to get at least one of those in before I leave. Before that, though, we're going to go into my advent calendar that I've been having a fit with, and you can see it's causing problems with the green screen a little bit. So we'll crack this open, and now we're on day 5. So let's crack this open and see what we've got in here, hopefully without having problems getting the die out. There we go. First one where it actually came out clean, but we do have the D6 in the set that we've been cracking open. It's playing a little bit of havoc with the green screen, but it is more of a Christmas themed dice set this year around. So here's everything else so far in the set in the bag, and it looks like the bag is actually either the bag. I think it's actually my face that's probably blocking a little bit of the green screen. But yeah, very nice. So we've got the D6 in the first set in the advent calendar this year. So that'll do it for this playthrough of Welcome To. Like I said, I'm going to be moving into the game room to start on some of these unboxings before I take off for my run on Noble Knight run this year. So stay tuned for that. We'll definitely have at least one game after I get back from Noble Knight. We'll also be unpacking the goodies that I picked up from there, but stay tuned for all of that. Thank you for watching the video. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to turn on notifications so you get my content. Be well, stay safe, take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and I'll be back with more videos in the future. Until then, take care everyone.